Hi everyone, it's Sergi and welcome to this new grammar lesson. Today I'm going to explain you the comparative adjectives and the superlative adjectives. You will see it's very easy and I'm sure you have seen it before in other courses. The first thing I want to explain is a brief definition of what a comparative adjective is and a superlative adjective. Then I will show you a nice table that you can find not exactly the same but similar in the book in unit 9. Okay, this is unit 9 in the book. So you see that perhaps we can finish the book by the end of the year. So let's go. Comparative adjectives are words we use to compare differences between objects, people, animals, etc. For instance, from the adjective big, which in Spanish grande, if we want to compare two houses using it, we can say house A is bigger than house B. La casa A es más grande que la casa B, okay? You have seen that for the comparison, we just have to take the adjective, in this case big, and add er at the end. In this particular case, we are doubling the G, but this is not always the case. So we add er to say más grande, okay? And then we add than to use que in Spanish. For example, we could say with another adjective that you may think of, tall, okay? We could say this tree is taller than that tree, taller than. That in Spanish would be este árbol es más alto que el otro. Very easy, very simple. And then you will see that the superlative is exactly the same. But here we are not comparing two things or two people or two animals, but what we're saying is the highest degree of a quality in an object, person, animal, etc. For example, using the same adjective, big, as the same as in the other case, we can say house A is the biggest one in town. That in Spanish would be translated into la casa A es la más grande del pueblo. The biggest, you've seen that we added the in front of the adjective big, and now instead of adding er, we add est to say la más grande o el más grande. Careful because the in case of the superlative and than in case of the comparative, it's the thing that you usually forget. So this is very important to have in mind. Always or not or almost always when we're using the superlative, we have to say, for example, la casa A es la más grande del pueblo, de la ciudad, del barrio. Okay, we need, usually you will find something here behind. Another example with the adjective clever, which is listo, okay, we could say Sergi is the most clever boy in class. Sergi es el chico más listo de la clase, okay? Always we're going to refer to the group of people, object, or animals. So now this is the important thing and the brief summary of what I've just explained. To form the comparative, we have to follow this rule or the superlative in case. First case, we've got 4 cases, okay? Short adjective, 1 syllable. I put examples small, big, tall, or quick. For the comparative, as I said before, we have to add er and than. Smaller than, bigger than. In case of big, remember that you have to double G. Taller than, quicker than. For the superlative, the smallest, the biggest, the tallest, the quickest. For example, I don't know, Jan is the tallest boy in class, or we could say Aitor is taller than Pau, for example. Then, second case is an adjective ending in Y. Happy, dry, early, or funny. If they end in Y, you have to form the comparative and superlative exactly as this first case, okay? We say happier than, but the only thing you have to take into account is that the Y from happy turns into an I. But we say happier than or the happiest, drier than the driest, earlier than the earliest, and funnier than the funniest. We could say, for example, Leo is the funniest boy in class, or Ainara is funnier than the teacher, for example. Third case, which is for long adjectives. It doesn't have to be 8, 9 syllables. When we say long, we mean 2 or more syllables. Interesting, in this case it's interesting, 3 syllables. Beautiful, 3 syllables. Clever, 2 syllables. Attractive, 3 syllables. This is even easier than the 2 previous cases. We just need to add more at the end of, before the adjective, and then, as always, than. So interesting turns into more interesting than. And for the superlative, we use the, as always, and then instead of adding more in front of the adjective, we have to add most, el más. So the most interesting. Beautiful, more beautiful than for the comparative, and the most beautiful. More clever than, the most clever. More attractive than, and the most attractive. You see, it's very easy. The only thing you have to do when you see an adjective is count how many syllables. 2 or more, then we are in this case. Careful, because happy has 2 syllables also. You could think, wow, we are in this case 2 or more. Yes, but happy ends in a Y. So all the adjectives ending in Y, thus like these ones, like the short adjectives, okay? Finally, there are some irregular, I've put only 3, but there are a few more, that they don't follow the rule. They just do their own life. So you have to study and know by heart and memorize what is the comparative and the superlative form of each of them. In case of good or well, could be also good or well, the comparative is not gooder than, it's better than, and the superlative is the best. For example, Sergi is the best teacher in the world. Okay, that would be a superlative. Then bad, we use worse than instead of better than. Worse than, peor que, the worst, el peor. We could say also, maybe some of you think Sergi is the worst teacher in the world. Okay, that could be an option. And the last one I put is far, lejos in Spanish. We have 2 possibilities here, farther with A and further with U. Pronunciation is quite the same, almost the same. and the farthest, the furthest. So this is how we can create the comparative and the superlative forms of all the adjectives. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this grammar lesson. If you have any questions, please write a comment in the video. That's it. Bye bye.